So maybe doing a little something different, which is not going well. So I guess this is the test too, where I was going to try to do some coloring pages and listen to an episode of Sleep with Me. Um, and I was going to try to listen to the episode on my AirPods on my computer. Then my computer crashed. So let's just see if this is going to work. But yeah, this is just an idea I had. Emily that does some of the art for the show. We've also, when she's done some of the art and we've had extra money, we paid her to do coloring pages as well. So I have a coloring page all the way back from a Spice Friends episode. And I thought it'd just be cool to like listen to an episode and uh color, and then you could do the same. So I'm gonna be listening. Well, let's just see if I can get this to work. 'Cause this is the first time I'm doing it. I've tried other ways of like mixing the audio. What I'll probably do is mix the audio after this, but that way you'll be hearing the same audio as me because I've tried other ways to do it live, and it's not that it's not possible. Uh, it's just like, well, let me see. Okay, that's not working yet. Getting no audio here. Okay, let's just take a look. Pods are connected. Okay, AirPods. Okay, so we're gonna kick it off. I'm gonna move my computer over here and I'm gonna start coloring. And you can get this coloring page wherever you're watching this. I'll have a link. Or since this is a test, maybe I'll set up. I don't know what URLs are open on my website. All right, let me kick it off. This is 1319 Cake Week from Sleep With Me.
All right, friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, bakers, hello bakers. It's time for Sleep With Me podcast, where I'm your friend in the deep dark night. I kind of try to talk to you and keep you company so that you could fall asleep. Welcome if you're new. Later on, we'll be talking about the Great British Bake Off, but it'll take me a while. I have to be. There's a time for proofing, and there's a time for warming the oven, and then there's a time for Bake Off.
Old crayons right now.
So all good things and all good time. If you're new to Sleep With Me, I'm so glad you're here. I really hope I can create a place where you feel welcome. And you could see if this podcast can help you out. I really hope it can help you fall asleep or have some comfort when you can't sleep. The show is very different. Someone put it to me this way today, and then I forgot. Well, they put it to me away today, and then I forgot. They didn't say the show is strange or weird, but it is a little bit different. They used such a good term, and now I forgot what it was. But if you've never listened to the show, it's kind of like a friend talking to you in the deep dark night so that you could fall asleep or be distracted from whatever's keeping you awake. And the way the show works, like coming up, we got support. So paying for the podcast is optional. Then a long, meandering intro meant to ease you into bedtime. And then later on, we'll be talking about the first episode of a season series collection of the Great British Bake Off baking show. So I'm glad you're here. Really appreciate you checking this show out. Give it a few tries, see how it goes. And what do you say? This show is made possible by people that support the show directly, support our sponsors. And thanks. Hey, are you up all night tossing, turning, mind racing, trouble getting to sleep, trouble staying asleep? Well, welcome. This is Sleep With Me, the podcast that puts you to sleep. We do it with a bedtime story. All you need to do is get in bed, turn out the lights, and press play. I'm going to do the rest. What I'm going to attempt to do is create a safe place where you can set aside whatever's keeping you awake. That could be thoughts on your mind, things you're thinking about the past, the present, the future, thinking thoughts. It could be feelings related to those thoughts or feelings that are just there, feelings remaining from the day, feelings that are coming up at bedtime. I don't know, you could be feeling stuff. Or you could be going through not trying to feel stuff, which sometimes is just as tiring, but not sleep-inducing for me. Could also be physical sensations, anything you're experiencing physically, maybe related to thoughts or feelings, or maybe other stuff you're dealing with or going through. Could be changes in time, temperature, routine. You could be traveling. You could have guests.
What you're working on too.
You could be just dealing with something. Maybe you work a different shift and you need to get to sleep at a time, an inopportune time. I wonder how many, like, thriller or mystery novels have had an opportune time in the title. Not enough, probably.
Opportune time, Scoots?
The other thing is, if you could, they would only be novellas. Will they be more like pamphlets of my interactions with most human beings? They'd say, well, how would you characterize, like just my normal life? How would you characterize, like, excuse me, we're just doing a special study here on human interaction. And we saw you just interacted with that young man there, Drew.
He's working on it.
Well, I think he must be changing it already because, okay, with that gentleman, Drew. Oh, the one in the robe? Well, no, this is a normal interaction. Okay, but he was wearing a robe anyway. No, that's his favorite coat. Interesting. Okay, well, how would you characterize that? I'd say, to him, I'd say, well, I guess I kind of put it to him this way. It's an inopportune time for us to make talk, a conversation, or small talk. So that's how I'd characterize it for him. In an opportune time. Okay, thank you very much. We were attempting a metaphor that just didn't work out. But that is like the subtext. I don't know, is that subtext? If someone says, excuse me, I got to use, like, whatever they're saying, I mean, this is an opportune time for you to speak with me.
Is that medic?
Even if it's many things, I go down to the hotel, I say, I think my room's next to, is it possible my room has an ice machine on both sides? Sir, it's an inopportune time for us to discuss this. Could you come back at another time? Well, do you have a clock? Well, yeah, this clock seems to show all times are inopportune. Though there will be someone away from the desk between 11 and 11:30. So maybe you could do it then. Because right now is an inopportune time to discuss that. So I don't know if you ever feel that way, if you have feelings about that. I don't even know what I was talking. Was I talking about feelings? I don't know. It's always it's like, and then with my thoughts, my feelings, my physical sensations at bedtime, I say, hey, do you think I could get some sleep? No, it's an inopportune time for you to sleep. We need to discuss these. I need you to feel these feelings right now. And these things, so it's an inopportune time. So anyway, what does all this have to say? Like, whatever's keeping you awake, I'm here to try to help you with it. And there's two reasons I'm here to help. One is you deserve a good night's sleep. You deserve a bedtime where you could get the rest you need, the sleep you need, so your life is more manageable. You deserve that. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread, that you could look forward to or at least feel neutral about. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is I know what it's like in the deep, dark night, and so do a lot of other listeners. And we could probably relate to how you feel in the deep, dark night, even if we don't understand it or we haven't been through the exact same thing. I want you to know, we get it, I guess. And this really, that's the underlying thing of like what makes this a welcoming place in a strange digital community that is connected. We're connected because we share something. And it's something in between thoughts, feelings, and physical sensations, but it's there underlying all that. And it's actually, in this case, a good thing. Something when we're alone, or at least for me, it's not necessarily a good thing. No. But for me, it's not just making this podcast that makes it a good thing. It's knowing that you're out there too. And not that knowing you're out there that you can't sleep, but knowing you're out there and you know what it feels like for me too, or have a general sense of like, oh yeah, that's stuff. Yeah, I can't sleep. This is why I can't sleep. It sounds like you have a different thing, but yeah, really, I don't know. There's something that does connect us and that takes that thing that isn't so positive on its own. And because it becomes something we share together, like a knowing nod. And maybe also you have people that say it's an inopportune time to talk. I mean, maybe you share that too. A lot of times we share stuff like that too. But it's a sense that we're not alone in the deep dark night. And that somebody out there gets you. And here's the thing. In the end, if you start listening to this podcast, it may not be the podcast for you, but maybe you take that part with you wherever you go. But if you do stick around and you do realize, hey, this podcast helps me out. I didn't realize it's a little bit confusing. I didn't realize how it's going to work. But then you become a person that's also sending your welcome to these new people that are tuning in when someone else is new. So that's what I mean when I say I'm glad you're here. Because maybe you feel it in the way I feel it, or maybe you feel it in a little bit different like spin or a little bit different depth or weight. But we got something here, and it is important. That's the only reason I pointed out is like, so maybe you could breathe a little bit easier here, knowing you're in good company. So I'm glad you're here. What I'll do is I'll send my voice across the deep dark night. I'm going to use lulling, soothing, creaky dulcet tones, pointless meanders, and superfluous tangents. Which just means my voice is not traditionally soothing. I already went on I get distracted, I go off topic, I get mixed up. Forget what I was talking about. My thoughts change in the middle of a sentence. All those things happen. And it's kind of like a similar, my brain kind of operates during the day, kind of similar how it does at bedtime, where it becomes slightly disconnected. And that's okay, I think. Again, it's another good thing. It's in the right place. Now, to know if this show is right for you, if you're new or if you're a regular listener, I'm always glad to go through this again. There's a few things I want you to know. One is not everybody. This show rarely works for most people. I mean, one, because it's a little bit different, right? And you do have to give it a few tries, and then you go, oh, okay.
Really? You kidding me? The show
like you have to be willing to test it out, just like tasting a new food or something, which normally I'm personally pretty unwilling to do. But here's the thing. If you try it out and it works,
I've been getting hit with the
that's a pretty good thing. If you try it out and it doesn't work, one, you only listen to it a few times. It takes 2 or 3 tries to get used to. 2, I have a website set up, sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. So you can find other sleep podcasts or sleepy stuff on there. And what else? 3, I don't know. Like, I mean, I really hope, 3 is that hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people have told me. At first, I didn't like this show, or it didn't work for me at first. It wasn't until the second or third try that I realized, oh, he is serious. This show does, it is just like a friend talking about nothing, more or less, in the deep dark night to keep me company and take my mind off of stuff so I could fall asleep. I had no idea I was looking for something like that. Because this is a podcast that you just kind of listen to, almost like a TV on in the other room or out of focus picture or something you can't quite make out, or looking at clouds and being like, well, that kind of looks like a snail. Or it could just be a cloud. What is that, a lump of coal? Yeah, oh yeah, that cloud is definitely a lump of coal.
Is that what you're talking about?
What's that one? Oh, rock. That one's a rock. What's that one? A sack of grains? Okay. What about that one? That's a lump. Lump of what?
Cloud
not coal, because we already said that, but it's named lump. It's a being. It's a lump-based being. Oh, okay. So it's kind of like looking at clouds with that guy. You say, okay, what's that one? It's a square, a deflated square. Oh, wow. What about that one? Deflated rectangle. And that one?
Charlie Brown?
Deflated octagon. Are you going to use this? You'll probably use it till it runs out again. Yeah. What's that one? I don't know. Is there a septagon? I think that's a deflated septagon. What about that one? Ooh, that one's an inflated isosceles triangle. That equilateral triangle? Yeah. What about that one? I don't know. That right angle? Is that the other kind of triangle we learned about? Right angle triangle?
Brain zone.
I like saying that, right angle triangle.
Strange podcast when I'm not
What about that one?
working
Oval.
on it.
That's like a oval. Okay. Doesn't look like an oval. It's a cloud. It's actually a cloud. It's just like I was just saying. Oh, okay.
Kids, man, you got
So it's kind of like that. It's a podcast you barely listen to. Now, you could listen to it. I'll be here to the very end, whether you're awake or asleep.
waiting for a meal.
And I'm here to be a little bit silly and lighthearted to kind of ease the mood and barely put a smile on your face. But that does take some getting used to. I mean, most people, when they get here, they're skeptical, they're doubtful, they're frustrated, they're tired. They've been looking for something. Maybe you're like me, you tried everything. You tried buying stuff, you tried subscribing to stuff, you tried listening to stuff, watching stuff, and nothing quite seemed to work for you on a regular basis because of one reason or another. And maybe the show won't work for you either, but give it a few tries, see how it goes. For the people it worked for, they said, yeah, I tried all this other stuff. I've been looking. I didn't know I was looking for this my whole life.
Supposed to be good for like your.
But if you're the kind of person that likes listening to goofy stuff or sitcoms or repurposing other audio, or calling somebody and being like, "Tell me a goofy story so I can fall asleep," this may be the show for you. So it's a podcast you don't really listen to. Most people don't like it. Most people, even if they do like it, it takes them a while to get used to. What other good news do you have? Well, despite the fact that this is like a sleep podcast for adults that I started like 11 years ago when there wasn't really an idea of boring bedtime stories for grown-ups, and it's, despite it being kind of the first sleep podcast, it's actually not meant to put you to sleep. I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. There's no pressure to fall asleep with this show. I'm going to be here over an hour, so you don't have to think about if you got to fall asleep or not. I'm here to keep you company to the very end, just in case you need me, or because if you can't sleep at all, I'm here to keep you company. If you need a break during the day, I'm here to keep you company. If you wake up in the middle of the night, but if you're not listening to me, I'm here to keep you company too. If you're asleep, I'm here to keep you company. Or distract you or whatever's, walk at your side or be here in your general vicinity. So it's a little bit different. I'm here to be your boar friend, your boar bae, your boar sib, your neighbor, your boar bestie, your Boris Borloff, your boars, your boar bee, your boar bruh, your boar sib, your boar cuz, your best boar friend forever. Your boar bae, did I say that? I'm here to keep you company while you fall asleep. And that's a little bit different. And so when I say I'm glad you're here, it's because I mean it. What other things you need to know? The structure of the show. The reason I run through the structure of the show is because when you're new, it can be confusing. And the show's already confusing, right? I mean, I went on a 5-minute tangent earlier. I don't even remember what it was about. Was I interviewing somebody from another world or something like that? Felt like interstellar travel, but now I really don't even know now that I'm actually trying to remember what it was I was distracted about. Felt like there's some kind of interview going on between an expert. Was it word-based? I don't know. It's gone now. But so structurally, I want to meet you where you are. Just in case you're new or you're coming back after a while, we haven't really changed anything about the show major in a long time, a couple minor things, but there's a reason the show's structured the way it is. And most people prefer to listen to this version of the podcast, like a linear ad-supported version of the show. But if you prefer a different version, I'll walk you through that. So the show starts off with a greeting. Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Hello, bakers, in this case. So you feel seen and welcomed in. You say, oh, okay, I might check that show out. Seems like kind of barely interesting. And I feel welcome. It kind of feels a little bit silly. I like that. I'll check it out. I like that I'm greeted with a welcome here. So that's important. Then there's support so that the people that would prefer free ad-supported version get that. If you prefer something without sponsors, you can get that on Sleep With Me Plus. Then there's a long meandering intro, totally separate from the support. It's a show within a show that we're already 15 minutes into. It's usually 15 to 20 minutes long. And it's where I try to describe what the podcast is ineffectively. So I follow a familiar structure every time, but the tangents I go on are totally unexpected and I guess barely memorable because I don't remember. But it kind of helps people get an idea what the podcast is. For regular listeners, it's like a kind of time we get to hang out. It's a part of the show most listeners listen to or hear. But it also helps people ease them into bedtime. So most people don't fall asleep during the intro. I mean, maybe 2% of people do. But most people are winding down, getting ready for bed, in bed, getting comfortable, or doing a chill activity. Because having a wind down routine is what really works for me, and just what I've read about sleep is having a ease into bedtime period is what can help. And so that's what the intro serves, and easing you into bedtime. If you prefer something without intros, Sleep With Me Plus has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of story-only episodes. And then we also have a podcast, Bedtime Stories from Sleep With Me, that just has stories. But for most people, the intro eases them into bedtime. Or, you're getting ready for bed or whatever. Then after the intro support, and then there'll be our episode or bedtime story. Tonight will be based on an episode of the Great British Bake Off. We'll be just kind of running through it and looking at what they baked. And I don't know, it's the beginning of a new season for me, so it'd be hard for me to remember anybody, but I'll do my best. And I think that's it. Give the show a few tries, see how it goes. I'm really glad you're here. I work really hard. I yearn and I strive. I really hope I can help you fall asleep. I appreciate you coming by. And here's a couple of ways we're able to do this for you twice a week for free. Thanks. Hey, everybody, Scoots here, and welcome, bakers. Hello, bakers. I always forget what it is. And we're covering the Great British Bake Off baking show Off to Sleep Cake Week, Collection 8, Episode 1. I can't remember what season it is. I think Season 11, maybe? It's the first one with Matt Lucas, so that's what I could tell you. Spoiler, but the cold open, is that what they call it? Comedy open is Matt Lucas. Those of us in the U.S. would be extremely confused by this, especially watching now. It's an important message. Protect cake, save loaves. And you say, this is somebody I should know who they are. Not Boris Yeltsin, but then you see the youthfulness in the face of the person. And you say, I don't know. And it's live from Downing Street. Please don't bake in a tent. Use common sense. Hundreds, thousands, that's sprinkles distribution. They get a Noel in a funky dress. And Noel asks, is it a scone or scone? First he asks Prue, who says scone. Paul says scone. And then they say, welcome to the Great British Baking Show. And we get some gorgeous sky shots. Holy moly. And then talking heads, should I apply? People seem really nice. This is special show 2020, man. So it's a good callback. They all stay together in the tent and in the countryside in a wee bake-off village in a wee bake-off town. They volunteered to stay, which is, I think, I didn't know any of this till now. 7 weeks. Now, I don't know if you like I don't know how the specifics, but Paul's talking, glad to get back to something familiar, comforting, lovely, Prue says. And then we get some previews of the season. What else we got? Noel. Talking Heads 2020. Live at Bake Off, 7 weeks, 12 new bakers, 30 challenges. And we start this one off with Cake Week. Downing Hill is where we may be. I don't know. Let me see. Right now on my video or my show, it's showing still previews of the season, including one from that I thought was later in the season. It's from later in this episode. We get the opening theme song. A little detour. Pitched our tents to Downing Hall. Cake-based challenge. Who's going to be the star baker of 2020? Or on their way, the first star baker. This is a first ever signature challenge, the Battenberg. Rectangular, wrapped in marzipan. Any sponge you want. It has to reveal pattern and design. 2 hours. Then we get like them working together, Matt and Noel. And because Matt's kind of new to it, so there's a lot of jokes based on that. And humor and playfulness with pauses and uncertainty. Okay, and then everybody's going. It's hard in the first couple episodes. Max, the first person getting organized. Laura, Mark with the beard. And Prue talks about how much she loves Bada-Bang or whatever, Badaberg. Stark colors, punching with flavors, Paul says. Better be punching with flavors and colors. Prue's like, I'm looking forward to marzipan myself. Battenberg. Lorraine is up. She's making bubble gum from a bottle. Cream soda syrup, cream soda flavoring. Lorraine is a radiographer in Durham, and we see her send some baked goods over her fence to a neighbor. And it's going to match Prue's outfit, though, which is interesting. Prue's got a nice blue jacket on. Lorraine's not the only one doing their childhood. Laura is a raspberry ripple with coconut. And there's some people using coconut sponge. I was like, man, I got to get myself some coconut sponge. She's a Samaritan's volunteer in Kent. She got the beautiful garden and pond. Celebration of summer. So we get them making it. We already said bake. That was earlier. Prue and Blue. And let's see, who else? These are my overall notes. Laura, childhood, Kent, Coy, eating age of a 9-year-old. Then we have Lottie. I'm already missing star-shaped funky pattern. Lottie in Littlehampton. Pantomime producers. Did it just say that? I mean, I guess the other thing is that it's not always accurate. Viking, she's into doing yoga, listening to Viking metal. I said, I got to get into Viking metal. I don't even know where to start. Rhubarb and custard, Battenberg, custard sponge, and and then is my butter curdling or my sponge? I need lumps of butter. Too cold. Redo my batter. Everybody's starting to run behind already. Next up is Dave, who's got a baby on the way, and from Hampshire. him and Stacy working on their thing. Chocolate espresso martini Battenberg. And Noel's joking with him, but it's stuff like I don't understand because I'm not, don't quite get it. Baby on the way, though. Something colors. Then we get Mark, Shower Cherry. He's from Cornwall. This is Mark, like a non-beard Mark. There's bearded Mark and non-beard Mark. Though this Mark also has a beard, just not as big. Bittersweet Battenberg. And Matt says, hey, Mark, there's a couple Marks on the show. Can we change your name? He says, hey, we could name me after my dog, Hamish. He says, really? Josh, Hamish, I don't know who Josh is. Maybe his son? I'm not sure. Cakes are going in the oven. Don't forget, you still got to shape this cake and stuff. Chocolate, walnut, rose water. Is that that Mark? I guess so. Then they do another time call. Snores, the spores. What does that have to do with it? Paul Hollywood's coming. And, okay, everybody's trying to check their cakes, make sure they're good. Trim and warm sponge or it'll fall apart. Don't do that. 2 more minutes, Peter says. Peter's timing multiple sponges. His is gluten-free. 20-year-old, he's playing what do you call that? Badminton with his twin brother who's gluten intolerant. Chocolate orange Battenberg. Trick when he learned when he was 10. His mom used to listen to the show. Oh, listen to the cake, he says. So if you listen to the cake, you can hear if it's done or not, apparently. Sura, her cake overflows. She lives with her husband, Chad, and their cat, Casper. Lemon and orange Battenberg. And Sura's a bit like me as far as, like, leaving a messy kitchen. That's my style, too. She's not a fan of it, so she's not going to even eat her own cake. West London. Battle for Battenberg. There's the first alliteration I noted. Afternoon tea classic, they say. So this is when you'd have it. It's flawless marzipan wrapping. Sura's never had marzipan. I probably have, but I don't know. I like almond, though. Okay, then we have Mark with the beard from Liverpool. He's making something Turkish in flavor. He gets pulled by his dog comedically in his little thingamajig. Almond orange marzipan. And he's trying to make his green, or at least part of it. Okay, don't forget your anniversary. Noel's telling him, whatever you do. And everybody's trying to elevate them. Night sky, marzipan, Mozart's A Magic Flute. We get a long, this is Rowan, long Temple of Enlightenment. And a lot of different things, a lot of different layers. Rowan's a music teacher, Worcestershire. That's where he's from. Vanilla sponge, rose sponge, lemon sponge. Have you done this before? The Bruce says, oh yeah. I mean, it's really complex. Then Linda, Brexel on the Sea. She's doing a Battenberg like trolley kind of thing, a helpful trolley as a tribute to her cousin. Egg, sugar, ground almonds or grand almonds. Yeah, egg, sugar, and ground almonds. That's what marzipan is. Mac, he's using pistachios instead of almonds. He keeps bees at his allotment in Bolton. I'd like to know more about these allotments, too. Spiced something. Let's do pistachios, he says. Why not? Orange liqueur. Hermione is skateboarding with her son. Chocolate and orange. Marmalade in the marzipan, they say. Interesting. Practice, did you? Yeah. You made, you got eggs in there? I don't know. French, I prefer making French patisserie. Okay, there's a half hour left. What else we got here? Lots of calling, lots of cake cutting. Rowan uses a designed CD box to cut his cake. Lottie's not ready. Lock it down, they say. Gotta use precision, which I would not be good. I mean, I can barely cut I'm not good at these kind of things. Rowan has to microwave his cake because the insides aren't cooked. It's time to roll out the marzipan. You know that song, Roll Out the Marzipan, Man. Make it quick if you can. But the right thickness, not too thin because it'll fall apart off the thing, but not too thick, which I can see on the show from watching it before. When it's thick, it'll just be too dominant. So, yeah, we get Rowan's cakes a little soft in the middle. Not enough baking time, maybe not enough heat, I don't know. Maybe not enough preheats. It's tough. But don't overwhelm it, man, with the marzipan. I don't know if that seems like a lot of work to roll it out. Marzipan's like a frosting coating, right? Marzipan, you can't catch me, I'm the marzipan man. Remember those ones? That was like, those were stories never told. They said, I prefer the stories about the gingerbread. Oh, okay, well. It was harder to catch the marzipan man because he wasn't a cookie. He was made of, he was much more bendable. So where they got the idea for that Stretch Armstrong from. Really? No, I just made that up. But everybody's wrapping their cakes, their Battenbergs. Some will block you. Rowan's trying to adjust. Some things are not going well, but this is like you're just trying to do a basic square with a checkerboard pattern with colors and flavors. It was this Lottie's kind of doing more of a diamond shape. Then everybody's starting to decorate. We got 1 minute remaining. Tough to tell where we're at, though, with the editing. But everybody's trying to bring it, stardust. Time is up. Rowan's not displeased. And everybody's high-fiving. At least we don't got to clean up. Imagine that. I was an intern on Great British Bake Off. I washed and cleaned. Okay, first up, I forgot this young man's name, but he gets a really good review. Moist and crumbly, nice marzipan. Same with the orange. Gluten-free for the sponges works. And everybody laughs. Then we have Mac. That was Peter. And then Mac. Neat, but too complicated, the flavors. Almond would have been better than pistachio. Harmony, striking, marmalade and the bitterness go together. Pleasure to eat. Then we have Laura. No distant plain. No distinction. Too plain, like needing more flavor. Dave, nice square, but the coffee overpowers it. Good vanilla. You explained it wrong. If you had explained it a different way. Linda, looks unfinished and dry. Bone dry. So they said, we wish could give you marks for the thought. Lorea, proved very striking. Could smell the bubble gum. Is that a good thing? Let's try blowing bubbles. Bone dry as well. I like bubblegum and cream soda, but maybe... And then marzipan's a little thick. And then Matt says, can you make it for my 9th birthday party? Then Mark with the beard. Nice, light. Marzipan's a little thick. Lovely texture. And then Mark with less of a beard. They say it's too busy. They say somebody's name. Sour cherry's lovely. Too much rose water. Lottie's up. She takes hers out of a bag, wrapped up, nice stripes. Starburst is a little bit messy. It was warm, huh? Colors are wonderful. Like the cake, but custard, okay. Well, it's jam strong, good acidity, good effort. We're gonna maybe eat some more of it. Rowan next. Okay, you had changed the design, eh? Too complicated. It's deconstructed. Night sky is nice and pretty neat. It's a heavy sponge, though. Hard work for cake. There's moisture that has to get out. Sura, pretty, looks good. Like the decorations, glazed. Flavors are there. Neat. Marzipan, elements good. Buttercream. Lovely piece of cake. So that's Sura. Then we go to the talking heads after. Everybody's kind of like, oh, man, Sura's like, I recover from having that cake being not that great. Initially, Peter's feeling good, pretty amped, he says. Couple other people still got to learn their names. But then we get a sky shot. Now, second challenge, gingham covered mystery. Blue gingham. This one's from Paul Hollywood. Classic. Classic from the Jetsons TV shows. Well, 6 mini pineapple upside down cakes, which I guess is a classic bake. I don't know if I've ever had it. These mini ones look pretty good, though. You get 90 minutes. So lightly buttered caramel, getting it all out in time is a challenge. You do the syrup first, according to Paul. Make a sponge, butter, sugar. Oh, this is when they're working. Classic bake. It's up, we used to have it at school dinners. I mean, man, if I go back in time, I want to go to schools Paul went to and just eat there. Rippling dessert every man, like nice desserts too. But yeah, it looks really tasty. I'll have to look up a recipe and do it one day. Okay, so first you make the caramel, low heat, not too caramelized. So it's got to be a light caramel in this case. It's a little secret if you ever go time travel and get on this cast. That will briefly help you with almost barely anything. It's got to be a light caramel. Don't over caramel it. Don't under caramel it. Also, don't forget to butter your molds or whatever. Syrup, pineapple, cherry, batter. How long should we put it in for? Don't burn your caramel, man. And making the sponge, which is just butter, sugar, make it light. 10 minutes? Can we keep checking on it? I think Mark, with less of a beard, forgot to butter his molds. Somebody did. And then some start to sink in the oven. So you see different levels of precision as people do these things. Some people are measuring and some people are just, guesstimating. And some people are reading carefully. Some people are not. And all right, let's just get it, let's get it all in there. They're like kind of getting cooked in cups that I'm not familiar with. Something like a tin, like bigger than a muffin. But they go in. Don't look at me, Matt says. I got no clue. Okay, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. Everybody's saying, what are you going to do? Get an outside shot, 15 minutes left. Windows are the ones that collapse. Nice height. Some people's scram method, good flavor. I think that's once we get them up on the board. But yeah, then everybody starts to get theirs ready, right? Take them out of the tins. You got to cool them first, I guess. Everybody's trying to hand cool them. Some people get the freezers, so I don't know if that's like whoever gets there first thing. But you got to turn these upside down cakes out. Just like the song once said, some people think they're good. Some people, you also put like a cream, like a whipped cream on top. And then another cherry, I think. So you get like a cake with then caramel like into the cake. And then the cherry and the pineapple with their caramelized a little bit too. Then whipped cream and another cherry. And Linda's are not good. And there's 1 minute left. Let's see how many people are putting another cherry on. Okay, nobody yet. Oh no, now people are. But they still have the thing in. Some people's are too warm, so their cream is melting. All right, bring them up. But then we bring them up, Sura and, I don't know the guy's name. They bump into each other. He's drop, which is upsetting, but he does have 1.5 cakes that are still good. So he, like, it doesn't matter. It ends up being like a false drama. What's his name? Dan, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, they say, don't worry. Judges said, they'll just eat the 2 you had. You had 6 done, so Sura feels guilty, but it was an accident. And Noel tries to make up for it by blaming Matt. Matt says, oh, yeah, it was my fault. So hypnotic. But you are supposed to have 6 identical pineapple upside down cakes. And they're going to go through and stuff with the new cast. So let me go through the Lottie, it's not Hermione, Laura, Mark, Mac, Dave, Lorea, Mark, and Linda. Linda had last because hers fell apart. Some are doughy, some are neat, some are uniform. Rowan's get a good review. His are noted for good flavor, but not consistent. So he ends up getting 3rd place. 2nd place is Peter. Uniform and taste good. Tiny bit of. Then 1st place is Sura. Perfect piping. Nice balance of flavors. What else we got here? 4. Oh, these are just order. But yeah, overall, they all kind of do good. Piping's good, excellent. Yours cooled. That's Sura who comes in first. Toffee like balanced beautifully, and yeah, then last place. Yeah, that didn't really work out for you, huh? So then they used a template for the ones that fell, but they're a little over caramelized. Nice sight. Delicious. Right now they're ranking from worst to best. But as we said, like we got it down. A little too pale. Too pale. Some people's too caramelized. And 3rd spot, Lottie 4th. Rowan. We have 10, who's first, Peter or Sura? Just Peter's a smidgen below the winner, Sura. Very, very good. Okay, then we have talking about being together. Zura, Pete, Sura actually drew. Oh, yeah, you're right. A crackerjack of a day. Now you have the top and the bottom people, which are kind of Linda and Mark with less of a beard. Okay, so then they go out to the tent and get dressed. They talk about being together, the 4 hosts, and that nobody's mature. Bruce says, I got to, share a tent with all of you. So I don't know if the hosts actually followed this too, like where 7 weeks they were on site. I mean, I can imagine for just to perform would be hard, but for people that do other like writing and creating, then it would be good because it'd be difficult, but you'd be able to do a lot. And I don't know, they're just joking about it since it's the first episode. Oh, Matt's shirt, I don't know if it's a polka dot because it has big dots on it. But I said, is that a polka dot? Is there when you have a polka dots, does it have to be a certain size to be considered polka dot? Okay, so this is a showstopper. It's a 3D cake bust. So that's shoulders and heads of a celebrity hero in 4 hours. And so you're going to have to sculpt, be creative, capture likeness in cake form. So that is a challenge if I ever heard of one. So don't too much, you don't want to make it too heavy or too sweet, Bruce says. It better look fantastic. Paul is like, you better make proper structure. Because if you don't bake it correctly, you know, the sponge won't hold it. First up is Mark without a beard, like less of a beard. He's doing Ziggy Stardust, fondant lightning, vanilla buttercream chocolate sponge, shape of his face, David Bowie, slender. And then, wait, so let's go. Idols, David Bowie, they call him the White Duke, I think. Then Linda's doing like a kind of tie-dye Bob Marley and like pastels, blues, and greens. Looks cool, the drawing of it. Lemon and orange curds. How much booze is going in there? Bottle and a half, she says. So... And she says, yeah, Bob Marley's meant a lot to me. Freddie Mercury is who Laura's doing. And lemon and elderflower. Then Lorea is Louise Bennett Coverley, Jamaican poet about identity. And she's going to do a spicy one. She has Durham and Jamaican roots, chili chocolate sponge, and I already lost the pieces. She said last time it didn't work out so great. Hopefully I do better this time. Okay, Sura is doing Sir David Attenborough, and they're talking about, have you ever met him? Noel's like, oh, I text with him, yeah. He's going to be coconut, Italian meringue, raspberry Italian meringue buttercream. Don't let down the animals, and Noel says, even if David's not happy, Sir David. Then Mark with a beard is doing Charles Darwin as a bit of a metaphor, spiced ginger coconut buttercream. Yeah, that's what got my attention, coconut buttercream. I love coconut, man. Lottie is doing, she's going to do a structural mold. And then she's doing Louis Theroux. And it'll be coconutty, sounds delicious. People are singing as they make the thing. All the cakes are going in the oven. We're talking about time management, you know, better be good with the time management now. Rowan is doing Queen Marie Antoinette, chocolate cake, soaked cherries, shoe bun hairdo, let them eat cake, a caramel ship on her head. And he's using some sort of mold, which will help, some kind of something mask mold. I don't know how to say that. People are having tea. Matt's got a cup of tea in his head. Everybody's working on, holy cow, how are we going to get all these elements done, right? Mixing things, making the buttercream, and show-stopping flavors, fillings and toppings, ginger mango jam, lots of ginger. Peter, subtle approach, strawberry jam, whipped double cream. In honor of St. Chris, Chris Hoy, the cyclist, He's going to do it with a helmet and goggles, so it makes it a little bit easier to do the look, but something that presents well. No hair he doesn't have to do, so keeping it simple. And cakes are coming out. The sponge, everybody's trying to cool them down, spread them out. What am I going to do here? Mark with a beard drops one of his sponges, but he says, I think I'll be okay. I'll use it on the top. It's time to roll out the fondant, as they say, and, start to do some sculpting, some designs, beads for necklaces. Tom DeLonge from Blink-182 is who's this guy Dave is doing. Roger Whittaker, you listen to Roger Whittaker? Noel says to Matt, chocolate buttercream mint sponge. I have to look up Roger Whittaker. Matt says, yeah, I do. And then Noel gives him a hard time. More into Sabbath, man. Hermione's doing Ode to Lupita. She's going to use real, I'll lose my spot here, isomalt eyes, and fondant something. Mac, a tribute to Bill Bryson, lemon, and something. He's like even making hair out of something. I don't even know. I don't know if that's cake or fondant or what. The shoe buns are not working for Rowan. They're not going rising. So, and the Matt balances a rolling pin on his head. People are trying to start assembling their cakes and their sponges after they've cooled. And are they ready to start carving and assembling? They're using different things to build around so that it all comes together. Shoe buns are not going to work for Marie Antoinette's hair, so he'll figure something else out. And heads are drooping, depending on the sponge. People are trying to carve their sponges and have them constantly fall over, which is difficult. Freddie Mercury's head rolls. Mark without a beard, his thing's falling apart too. Time is flying, so everybody's in different stages of the decoration part. So Laura's stressed. Some people, get her way ahead. There's even a couple of people that end up helping other people at the end. And Noel's giving her a hard time about Louis Theroux. I always say Louis, but, and then, Hermione's like, building her, like she's going to dress her, thing. So, Lupita's not clothed, but it ends up, she makes this beautiful dress for her. Okay, so everybody's trying to decorate, get the eyes right, get the look right, get the details, and get the silhouettes, put it together, stacking layers, time flies, and Peter even says, Ron, you need some help, I'll help you. Sura's helping Linda put hers together so that Freddie's head stays on. And people are trying to find the right, holders or, things. Time's up. Step away from your cakes. And then they go outside to catch a breath. And Sura's cake rolls off of the thing. So she's allowed to go back in and stand it back up. But she has to put something behind it so it'll stand up. Piping bags, like a travel cushion, because you could use inedible supports. It's time. Rowan goes first. He's got a nice stand. And he said, yeah, I couldn't do the hair, so I improvised. They go, you gotta scale back, Paul says. Say less, do more. But, because if you didn't tell us, it would look brilliant. So then he goes in, cuts a piece of Marie Antoinette's cake. Flavor's lovely, cherry. It's a tasty cake. Well done, Rowan. Lottie's next. You got to look down. Coconut lime. Get all the flavors, but it's overbaked, bone dry. Mac, good detail. Lemon Madeira, red currant. Flavor but dry. Too bad because it could have been good. Bob Marley doesn't get totally done shape-wise, but cake-wise, it's delicious. All the elements of a good sponge. Citrus flavors, lemon curd, can't go wrong. It's Chris, very dramatic. The Sir Chris one looks like he's puffing. Clever. You know who it is from all his medals. And it's like, okay, this is like, I was wondering what it'd be like inside. It looks great, though. Buttercream's delicious. Cream, cherry, sponge, spot on. Paul's even smiling. Fresh, light, concept is great. Witty. Well done. Then we got the Tom DeLonge. Strawberry, cocoa, buttercream, mint, toothpaste. Too strong on the mint. Chemical taste. You let yourself down, Paul says. Mark, this does not look like David Bowie at all. Yeah, he goes, yeah, it looks more like Jabba. It's going to fall apart. They taste the cake dense, overbaked, good flavor, good effort. Then Erminy, and she put Guess Who on it, but the dress came out really nice. It looks like a real dress, even though it's made from fondant or whatever the other thing is. Lovely cake, rich chocolate, delicious. Mark with the beard, ginger spice, coconut buttercream. Good flavor, hasn't overdone it. Spices, ginger. Well baked, well done. Lorea. Okay, look, kind of doesn't resemble her, but in style it does. And it tasted, and it's a little bit, the chili's overwhelming. Kind of comes in waves. Ginger is really strong. And they kind of give her a hard time about being consistent and being overstrong. Sura's up. He's reclining, having a nap. They laugh. Neat shirt. Let's have a look here. Okay, it's tender on the inside. Coconut, Italian raspberry. They taste it, like the flavor. Not dry, moist. And it looks like him. Smart, neat, well done. Okay, they laugh when they look at Laura's, because it just doesn't look good. Except for the jacket. They say, okay, the jacket's lovely, let's try it. They taste it, delicious. It's so moist, that's probably why I couldn't hold up. Paul says, I love it. Cake, elderflower, flavor. Really nice. And we know who it is, at least. So everybody laughs. We could get zooms on the people that aren't doing so great. And then we get the talking heads. And I thought this was a sure thing if who was going home, but I was ended up being wrong. Linda's relieved that she did good on the last one. Mark with less of a beard is positive he's going home. I thought so too. But again, we must not have seen all of the clear things. So then they say, Paul and Prue have decided. All right, bakers. So Mac gets to say the star baker. And the star baker is Peter. Everybody claps. Peter's super, man, he's really young. I mean, a lot of times the star bakers are. And they say, okay, the baker who isn't going to make it is, and they show three people's, they say Lorea. And I said, really? Okay. Did not expect that. But Mark must have done something in one of the other two ones that was just a little bit better. So she's in the rain, kind of contemplated, proud. I did well to get here, stayed true to myself. A lot of hugs. Paul said I wanted to get involved and kind of steer her in a different direction, but I couldn't. I'm a judge. Mark is relieved. So is Linda that they didn't go home. A lot of backpacking, a lot of hugging, some crossed arms. Peter calls home, says, just wanted to give you a quick call. Week 1, Star Baker. Everybody's cheering. He goes, yeah, it's pretty wild. He laughs. It was Downhall. They say in the thank yous. So let's see, the thank yous, Downhall Estates. So not Downing Hall, Scoots. And then who were we going to, we can't, can we use the internet? Who was the author or the musician we were going to look up? Just didn't get that. Roger Whittaker. Let's look that up. It's probably somebody I should know, huh? Oh, a lot of times with you it is. You're right about that. Okay, let's see. And then I'll finish, and then I'll say goodnight to everybody. What do you think? It's like Roger? Roger Whittaker. Roger Whittaker. Roger Whittaker. Is Kenyan-born British singer-songwriter, musician, folk music, crooning, and trademark whistling skills. Times observe some popular singers define the zeitgeist and many more follow it. Some defy it. Roger Whittaker among them. Never had chart success, but he's been on TV in 12 countries. 1971, his best known song, The Last Farewell. And let's see, 74, he was in the Finnish Eurovision qualifier. And yeah, I'll have to look more up about it. So I don't get it. It must be some joke. I mean, there's a lot of jokes I don't get, I guess. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this episode and having the Bakers back. It's nice to have everybody back. Let's see if I type in Down Hall. Oh yeah, here it is. Down Hall Spa and Estates. See if we can book a room here. Wait a second, 146. That's just on the thing. Yeah, let's take a look. Exclusive. It's in Hertfordshire. Eat, stay, love. Up to 292 pounds per couple. It was it's only 171 per room. Festive tea escape. That's 250. Some sort of what's that called? Tennis paddle. What's that called? Paddle ball. They got a breathwork weekend, a sound bath weekend. They should have a snoozy Sunday. You guys should get me out there working on it. Spa package, Eden Spa Escape. They have a lot of things. Man, it doesn't, it's also somewhat affordable activities. That's what I always want to see here. And I don't know where, I have no clue where it is. They got a trim trail, kitchen garden, local attractions. Let's check out the local attractions. Audley End House, Bishop Stortford, Cambridge. Oh, so it's close to Cambridge. 52 minutes in the car. Countryside walks. Mount Fitchay Castle. Hatfield Forest, Hatfield House, House on the Hill Toy Museum, Paradise Wildlife Park, Rye House Karting. So, yeah, location, let's look that up. It's, okay, Downhall is on the Hertfordshire, Essex border. And that's it. If you got any questions, give them a call. Just trying to see where. Okay, it's north. It's not that far out of London. I mean, let's see, Watford, wherever, Slough. We know where the only time I stayed outside of London was in Reading, Reading, right? Reading. And I think that's in another direction. Swindon. Oh, yeah, Reading, Slough, and Swindon. Yeah, they're all in the same. That's like from The Office, right? So it's the opposite. That's so west of London. But I stayed in Reading and took the train in London every day because it's more, I could stay with somebody that afforded. Yeah, so it's north, but it's on the way to Cambridge. Okay, well, maybe one day. Check it out. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks for listening, and hope you sleep well. Night.